Of the most amazing Turning Point USA family. They've rallied around myself, my children, and, chosen family is everything. And then, of course, we're blessed with our
For his parents, because his parents are private. We saw them for the first time at the funeral.
Yes.
You did such a beautiful job there.
My mom is Charlie and my mom. Well, Charlie's family's there. Everyone's hanging in there. We're doing the best to be.
According to reports circulating online, Charlie Kirk's parents are now said to be feeling that same growing discomfort.
That same loyalty
many
message,
observers have
and
been
people
talking
can't
about.
help but notice it.
Sources claim
Because here's the
Catherine
question
Kirk
that
and
keeps
Robert
getting
Kirk
louder.
are deeply
Where are
unsettled by
Charlie's
how
parents in
everything
all
has
of this?
unfolded
When
since
Erika
their
talks,
son's
she
passing.
centers herself and
when you step back and look at the
every
bigger
single
picture,
time.
that
According to
reaction
reports
doesn't surprise a
circulating
lot of
right
people.
now, Charlie's
Because
parents
what's being
feel that
discussed
same
now isn't
discomfort
just
themselves.
tone, messaging,
Sources say
public
Catherine and
appearances
Robert
anymore.
Kirk
It's
are
money.
allegedly because what's being
money.
discussed now isn't just
One of the
tone or
major
wording.
allegations
It's
being
money,
debated online
serious
is that
money.
Erika
The
Kirk
allegation
and
being
Turning
talked
Point
about is
USA
that
may
Erika
have
and Turning Point USA
benefited in the
financially
months that followed
benefited following Charlie's death. That's not a small accusation,
claim.
and it's
And
why
it's
people
exactly
are
why
paying
people
close
are paying
attention.
such close
The numbers
attention.
being mentioned are shocking. We're
The
talking
numbers being
figures around
mentioned are
$90 million
staggering.
being thrown
Online
around in
discussions have
conversations
floated
online.
figures around
And Candace
$90
Owens has
million.
claimed it could be even
Candace
higher.
Owens has suggested
Some
the
reports
total
say
could be even higher.
TPUSA.
What do you miss most? How are his parents doing? Because his parents are private. We saw them for the first time at the funeral.
Yes.
You did such a beautiful job there. How are all of y'all doing? You talk a little bit about the kids, but how's your mom doing? I mean, I know she's devastated for
My
you.
mom is Charlie and my mom. Well, Charlie's family's there. Everyone's hanging in there. We're doing the best to be expected. My mom and Charlie, they were best friends. I would always say that Charlie was her favorite child. But the thing that was so special about our Sabbath dinners was that it wasn't about religious.
As whether people like it or not, her name is tied directly to everything that happens during that period. And once money enters the conversation, things stop being emotional and start becoming very serious.
Has people asking
Because
hard
silence,
questions.
timing, and control all start to matter
where
a
the
whole
pressure
lot more.
increases.
So naturally,
Who was
once
in
all of
charge
this
during that
started
period?
bubbling up, people began digging.
Erika.
And when folks dig into
She was running
Erika's
the
past,
organization.
old
She
information
is the
starts
CEO
resurfacing.
now.
But Charlie's
Whether
actual
people
parents,
agree with it or
his
not,
real family,
her name is
nothing.
directly tied
No
to
visibility,
everything that happened
no
during that
acknowledgement,
time
no
frame.
presence.
And
to a
once
lot of
money enters
people
the
watching this
conversation,
unfold,
emotions
that
take a
silence
back
feels
seat.
strange, unnatural, like
Silence,
something important is
timing,
being
and
avoided.
control
And it's not just
suddenly matter a
outside
lot
observers
more.
feel
Hey, check this out. Erika Francev, 2019, and Yair Netanyahu. Shabbat Shalom.
Naturally,
$40 million
once these discussions
in just
started gaining
3
traction,
months.
people
3
began digging
months.
deeper.
That alone has people
And when
asking
they did,
hard questions.
older
And
information
here's the
about
part
Erika
that really
began
adds pressure.
resurfacing.
Who was in charge
Not
during
new
that time?
revelations,
Erika.
not
She was
breaking
running the
discoveries.
organization. She's the
Just
CEO now.
details that had always
which
been
means
there.
not new
Overlooked or
revelations
dismissed
exactly,
at the time,
or
but
like
now
details that
hitting
were
very
always
differently.
sitting there, ignored,
You've probably
overlooked,
heard the so-called
brushed off at the time.
honeypot theory
Stuff that
mentioned
suddenly
before.
hits different now.
For years, many people
You've probably
brushed it
heard
off as
people
fringe
mention the
or
honeypot
exaggerated.
theory before.
Not proven,
For a long
not
time, it
confirmed.
sounded fringe, almost
But critics are
conspiratorial.
now saying that
But critics
in
are
light
now
of
saying that
everything
in light of
unfolding,
everything happening,
it's
that
no
theory,
longer
and at this
something they
point,
can
people
easily
aren't calling it
laugh off.
avoidance anymore.
Again, that
They're
doesn't
calling
make
it
it true.
straight up disrespect.
But it does make
While
people
all
think
that's happening,
twice.
what is Erika
Now let's bring
doing?
this back to Charlie's
She's
parents,
everywhere.
because this is
She's
where
actively
things start
promoting
getting genuinely
non-stop
uncomfortable.
media run. And the
According to
focus never
reports,
shifts.
Erika has repeatedly
And it's always
ignored
her image and
At this point,
TPUS
some
same
observers
devastating
aren't calling
loss.
it
The
avoidance
same
anymore.
tragedy.
They're
So
calling it
where are the updates about them?
Joshua Peterson. I worked for Turning Point USA and Turning Point USA Faith, and I knew Charlie Kirk personally. I want to say on the record that there was a inner circle at Turning Point USA that was constantly working against Charlie and his interests and what he wanted to do, as well as there was a Jewish influence in Turning Point that he was not very fond of, that he wanted to get rid of. He tried doing this. He tried creating a Doge department, and he got. Another thing that makes me believe this inner circle was constantly working against Charlie was the stock market branch. Now, the thing about this branch is it's been getting millions of dollars poured into it over the past 4 years now, and that's been seen through their latest tax returns. This stock market group that Turning Point has been throwing millions of dollars into the stock market for the past 4 years now, and Charlie Kirk had no knowledge of that whatsoever. Make it make sense. That sounds like money laundering to me. It sounds like there's some pyramid scheme going on behind the scenes at Turning Point that Charlie did not know about.
While that's happening,
And what about
is
Charlie's
Erika
sister?
doing? She's
Silence.
everywhere.
Nothing. For nearly 3 months,
Promoting
the
Charlie
public
Kirk's
narrative
new
has
book.
been entirely
Interview
about
after
Erika.
interview.
And that's
Appearance
exactly
after
why criticism
appearance.
is now
A
going public.
non-stop media
Because to
run.
many people, other,
And the focus rarely
people
shifts away from her
immediately
image
noticed
and
how she
Turning
barely.
Point USA's
Then she quickly pivoted and shifted
Pause
the
on that for a
conversation
second.
straight to her mom.
Charlie's parents
Fast,
suffered the exact
smooth,
same loss.
but noticeable. And once
Same
viewers caught
tragedy.
that, the comments went wild.
So where are
because
the
when
updates
moments
about
like that
them?
stack up,
How are they
people
holding
stop
up?
seeing coincidence
What
and
about
start
Charlie's
seeing
sister?
a pattern off either. But let's
For
bring this
nearly
back to
3
Charlie's
months, there's
parents,
been
because
almost
this is where
complete
things start
silence.
getting genuinely
The public
uncomfortable.
narrative has been
Reports
almost
say Erika
entirely
has
centered on
repeatedly
Erika.
ignored them. People
That's
watching
why
this closely,
criticism has
it
gone
feels
public.
like the story is being
To many
rewritten
people
in real
watching
time.
closely, it
as
feels
if
like
the
the
people
story
who
is
knew
being
Charlie the
rewritten in
longest are
real
being
time.
slowly erased from the
As if
picture.
the people who knew
Here's
Charlie
a
the
specific
longest
moment that really
are
set
slowly
people
being
off.
pushed out of
Erika
the
recently
picture.
appeared on Fox and Friends, and the host
One
asked a
specific
direct question
moment
about
really
Charlie's
set people
parents.
off.
They also asked about Erika's
Erika
own
recently
really
appeared
steering
on
the
Fox and
conversation
Friends,
away from
where the
Charlie's
host asked
parents.
directly
And
about
here's
Charlie's
the detail
parents.
that really stood out.
They
The
also
language
asked
she
about
chose.
Erika's
I mean,
own
she
mother.
didn't
Doing? How are the kids?
Doing the best you could expect. God is good, and we have the most amazing Turning Point USA family. They've rallied around myself, my children, and, chosen family is everything. And then, of course, we're blessed with our family itself.
Viewers
She
immediately
didn't say
noticed how she
Charlie's
handled it.
parents are doing the
She
best
barely
they can.
acknowledged Charlie's
She didn't
parents,
even
then
X
quickly
moments.
pivoted the
pattern
conversation
starts
to
to
her
feel
mom.
even louder. Remember the
Fast,
memorial
smooth,
service.
but
Charlie's
noticeable.
parents weren't there. That
Once
event wasn't
viewers
private or
caught that,
quiet
the
either.
comment
It featured
sections
pyrotechnics. It was a public
Because when
spectacle.
moments like
And
this
during
keep
that same
stacking up,
memorial,
people
Erika
stop
did something
seeing
that
coincidence
stunned a
and
lot
start
of
seeing
people.
a pattern.
She publicly forgave
She
the
went on to
alleged
say
shooter
that Charlie
during her
was her
speech.
favorite
But what did she
child.
not do?
And
She weren't
almost
ready for
immediately
that kind of
shifted into
statement.
talking about
That
Sabbath
decision
dinners
didn't
at her
just
mother's
speak for her.
house,
There were
family
still unanswered
traditions, and
questions
warm
surrounding the
personal memories.
assassination at that point.
Critics
Investigations
didn't miss
weren't
that
finished.
transition.
Details weren't
What
clear.
stood out even
Yet
more was her
forgiveness
choice of
declared
words.
publicly just days after it happened.
She didn't say,
Critics
my
keep
in-laws.
repeating the same thing.
She didn't say
Something feels
Charlie's
off.
parents are
And then there's the
struggling,
footage from
or
the Medal of
acknowledge their
Freedom
emotional
ceremony.
state at
Have
all.
you seen it?
She
Because
simply
the
glossed
people are
over them.
asking why.
To many
Why
viewers,
wouldn't she
that
stand with her
suggested
in-laws
distance
during one of the
or
most
silence,
significant moments
or
honoring
something
their
she didn't
son?
want to explain.
Because at moments like that,
And when people
proximity
connect this to
matters,
earlier
and
moments, the
silence
pattern
speaks
grows
louder than
louder.
words. Charlie was married to
Remember
Erika
the
for only a
memorial
few
service.
years, but to acknowledge their
Charlie's
emotional
parents
state
weren't
at
there.
all. She
It wasn't a
completely
quiet or
glossed
private
over them.
gathering either.
That choice gave
It was
many
a large
viewers a
public
clear
event with
impression
dramatic
that she
production.
does.
Sorry, but that whole thing right there is frustrating. And I'm going to explain to you why I just do not accept any of that. First and foremost, the idea that she does not have time. Now, okay, to that point that people are making hundreds and thousands of dollars, I just don't get how there's not someone on this very large PR team, as we're seeing these PR campaigns go out, that doesn't go, hey, maybe we should strike that. They made $40 million like 2 nights ago at Mar-a-Lago. Maybe that feels kind of a little bit like let them eat cake-ish. Oh, and we've made more than separately from Mar-a-Lago. Turning Point USA, since Charlie was killed, just so you guys know, this is a fact, has made more than $100 million. That is separate from the $40 million they made at Mar-a-Lago the other night. So since Charlie has died, that organization has taken in $140 million.
During
very
that same
least,
memorial,
that there's distance
Erika made another
she doesn't
decision
want to
that
explain.
stunned
Didn't mention
many
Charlie's
observers.
parents even once.
She publicly
Let that
expressed
sink in.
forgiveness toward the person
She felt
accused in
comfortable
the case,
publicly forgiving the person
but she
accused of
didn't
taking
mention
her husband's
Charlie's
life.
parents even
But
once.
what if Charlie's parents didn't agree
That
with that
raised a
choice?
serious
What if
question
they
for many
optics are
viewers.
impossible to
What if
ignore?
Charlie's parents
Erika
didn't
is
agree
standing
with that
far away
choice?
from Charlie's parents.
What if they
not
weren't
beside
ready
them,
for a
not
statement
near them.
like that?
Instead,
That
and
moment
she's
didn't just
positioned
speak for
parents.
Erika.
He was their
It
son
spoke for the
his
entire
entire
family
life.
without their
Matters to a
voices
lot of
being
people
heard.
watching this closely.
And at that
Many
point, there
believe
were
that the
still
Medal of Freedom
unanswered
should have been
questions.
presented to Charlie's
Investigations
parents,
were
not
ongoing.
Erika, and that
Details
belief didn't
weren't
come
fully
out of
clear.
nowhere. Because
Yet
the
forgiveness
erasure
was
doesn't
declared
stop there.
publicly just
Erika
days
rarely
after
brings up
everything
Charlie's
happened.
parents unless someone directly
Critics
asks
keep
about
saying
them.
the same thing.
It's not something she volunteers.
Something feels
It's not
off.
something she centers. And that
Then
absence
there's footage
keeps
from the
jumping
Medal
out
of
at
Freedom
people.
ceremony.
She speaks
The optics
glowingly
stood
about
out
Charlie's
immediately.
legacy. Sure.
Erika was
She mentions
positioned
about
far
what was
from Charlie's
happening inside
parents.
Turning Point USA
Not
before
beside them,
Charlie died.
not
According
near
to
them.
claims circulating, Charlie
Instead,
allegedly
she
discovered
stood
internal
alongside
betrayal
political
within the
figures.
organization. It's being
People
said
are
that he ordered an
asking
internal
why.
audit after noticing
Why
red
wouldn't
flags.
she stand with her
Those
in-laws
allegations
during one
suggest
of
he
the most
uncovered
significant
questionable
moments
financial
honoring
activity.
their son?
Now, a former TPUSA
Because in
employee
moments
has
like that,
reportedly come come forward backing up these concerns.
Silence speaks
They're
louder
talking
than
about
words.
suspicious stock market investments.
Charlie was married to
They're
Erika
claiming
for
that some
only a few
insiders
years,
were actively
but to
working
his
against
parents, he was
Charlie
their
behind the
son for his
scenes.
entire
Now
life.
connect that. But at the same time, reports claim
distinction matters
TPUSA
to a lot
may
of
have
people
brought
who are
in as
following
much
this
as
story closely.
$140 million
Many
in just
online
3
believe
months.
that the Medal of
3
Freedom
months.
should have been
And
presented
that contradiction
to Charlie
is
Kirk's
exactly
parents, not
why
to
people
Erika
are
Kirk.
asking harder questions now.
And that belief
Because when
didn't
loyalty,
come out of nowhere.
money, and silence
Because
all
to
collide
critics, the
like
pattern
this,
of erasure
the story
doesn't
stops
stop
feeling
there.
simple.
After my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk show family, when you go after the people that I love and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this.
Feeling very
that
uncomfortable.
Erika rarely brings
Many
up
critics
Charlie's
are calling this
parents unless
straight
she's
up
directly
textbook
asked about
hypocrisy.
them.
And Candace didn't
It's not
stay
something
quiet.
she volunteers.
She responded
it's not
publicly,
something she centers.
brought receipts, and made a direct
that
claim that
absence
hit
keeps
hard.
standing out more
According
and
to
more.
Candace, Turning Point USA
She
benefited
speaks
the
glowingly
most
about
by
Charlie's
his
legacy,
work, his influence, his impact.
influence, and his
But what she
impact.
never acknowledges
But
are the
what she
people who
almost
raised him,
never
the
acknowledges
people who
are the
shaped his
people who
values,
raised him,
the people who were
shaped
there
his
long before
values,
politics,
and
platforms,
supported him
and power.
long before
Instead,
politics,
she keeps returning to the
platforms,
same
and
phrase
power
over
entered
and
the
over
picture.
again. TPUSA is my family.
Instead,
now.
viewers
And
say
that's where
she
things start
repeatedly
getting even
returns
messier,
to the same
because there
phrase.
are allegations to what's happening today.
Turning Point
and the
USA
money
is my
conversation
family now.
suddenly looks very different.
And that's where things
Because
start
remember when
getting
Erika
even messier.
publicly criticized Candace Owens
Because
over her
alongside that
YouTube
phrase,
earnings,
there are
she went after
allegations
Candace for
circulating
making
about
money
what may have been
online
happening
financially
inside
after
Turning
Charlie's
Point
death.
USA
And
before
once she
Charlie's
said that out
passing.
loud, the conversation
According to
exploded.
claims shared online,
But even as those
Charlie had
claims spread,
reportedly begun
Erika keeps
noticing
repeating the same
internal
phrase
issues and
like a
was
shield.
allegedly considering a closer
TPUSA
look at the
is my family,
organization's
over and over
finances
again.
after seeing
And
what
critics
some
believe
described
that
as
wording
red
isn't
flags.
accidental at all.
Some former
They argue
employees
it
have
works
claimed
like
there
a
were
guilt
internal
tactic.
tensions,
Because if
questionable
TPUSA is
financial
family,
decisions,
then
and
anyone
even
questioning the
individuals working
organization
against Charlie
suddenly looks
behind the
heartless.
scenes.
Still doing non-stop interviews
Again,
and
these are
appearances.
allegations,
The
not
goal,
proven facts.
raise even more money for
But when you connect those
TPUSA.
claims to
And
what's
people are
happening
asking
now,
why.
the financial
Why push
conversation
aggressive
starts to look
fundraising when
very
reports already
different
claim
to
the
many
organization
observers.
brought in over $100
That's where
million
people
in
point to
just
a
a few
moment
months?
that really escalated
What
the
exactly
debate.
requires that level of
Erika
constant cash
publicly
flow?
criticized
Glenn Beck
Candace
attended the
Owens
event
over her
and posted
YouTube
about it
earnings,
publicly. He
calling
claimed
out
nearly
influencers for
1,000
making money
people showed
online.
up to the dinner.
But at the same
He also
time,
said
reports circulating
TPUSA
online
has
claim
big
Turning Point
projects planned
USA
for 2026.
may have generated as
That
much
sounds
as
impressive,
$140
but it
million
also raises more
in just
questions.
3 months.
Because here's the detail people keep
3
pointing
months.
out.
That
Despite all this
contradiction
money
is
talk,
exactly why people are asking
TPUSA
harder
slowly,
questions
fast.
now.
So let's zoom
Because
out
when
and look at the
loyalty,
bigger
money, and
picture here.
silence collide like
Because
this,
the questions
the
people
story
are
stops
asking
feeling
now
simple.
go way deeper than grief or complicated
Critics have
family
openly
dynamics.
called it hypocrisy,
Why is
and
Erika
Candace
pushing
didn't
this
stay
narrative
quiet.
so aggressively?
She responded publicly and
Why
claimed
does she
that
appear
Turning Point
laser
USA
focused on
financially
controlling the
benefited
story
most
instead
in
of
the period
addressing the
following
unanswered
Charlie's
questions
passing.
about the assassination itself?
Once she
Is
said
this
that
really
out
about
loud, the
grief,
conversation
or is it about
exploded.
money and control?
Still, Erika
And
continues
those honeypot
repeating the
rumors we
phrase,
mentioned earlier,
Turning Point USA
critics who
is
once
my
brushed them
family.
off are now revisiting them with fresh
Critics
eyes.
argue that this
Some are
wording
starting to
isn't
wonder if
accidental.
parts of those
They
claims were
believe it
closer
works
to the
as a
truth than
shield.
anyone wanted
If
to admit.
TPUSA
Same
is
conclusion.
framed as family,
None of
then
this
anyone
feels
questioning
random.
the organization
None of this feels
can be made to
accidental.
look cruel.
And that's what makes
like
this
they're
entire
attacking a
situation
grieving
so
widow
unsettling.
instead of asking
Because when
legitimate
patterns
questions.
repeat this clearly, people start wondering
Candace
what they're
Owens
not
directly
supposed
called
to
that
notice.
framing out.
Now I want to
pointing
hear
the
from you.
contradiction.
Do you think this is
On
about
one hand,
grief,
public
power, money, or
criticism of people
something
making
else
money
entirely?
online.
Drop your
On the
thoughts
other,
in the comments.
reports of
If this video made you think,
record-breaking
make
fundraising
sure to like
totals
it,
inside the
share it, and
organization.
subscribe so you don't miss
And
what comes
speaking
next.
of fundraising,
And as always, I'll
critics
see you in
keep
the
bringing
next
up the
video.
private
Right?
Mar-a-Lago
Like they're
event
attacking
Erika
a grieving
hosted.
widow instead of asking legitimate
Tickets
questions.
were reportedly priced
Candace
at
Owens
$10,000
directly called
per
this
plate.
strategy out.
And the goal
She
was to
pointed to the
raise
contradiction.
even more money
On
for
one
Turning
hand,
Point USA.
Erika publicly criticizes
This
people
happened
for
while
making
Erika
money.
was still doing
On the other hand,
non-stop interviews and
TPUSA
media
is
appearances.
reportedly pulling in record-breaking
People
amounts.
online are
That
asking
disconnect
why
is
such aggressive
exactly why
fundraising
people
is
stopped
necessary
whispering and started
if the
speaking
organization
loudly.
is already
And
bringing
speaking
in
of money,
massive
let's talk
sums.
about the Mar-a-Lago fundraiser.
Glenn Beck attended
Erika
the
hosted
event
a
and
private
posted
event with
publicly
tickets
about
priced
it,
at
saying
$10,000
close to
per
1,000
plate.
people showed up, and that
10,000.
TPUSA
This
has
happened
major
while she was
projects planned for
podcasts have
2026.
reportedly dropped to number
That sounds
94 on
impressive,
Apple Podcasts.
but it also raised
and critics
more
are asking,
questions.
if influence
Critics
is slipping,
point out
why
that while
is fundraising ramping up? And once again, the
TPUSA's
numbers don't
podcasts
seem
have
to line
reportedly
up.
dropped in
They used
rankings
to
on
sit
Apple
comfortably in the
Podcasts,
top 10.
falling far
Now,
from where they once
they're
were.
slipping fast. And to a
If
lot of people
influence is
watching
slipping,
this in
people
real
ask,
time, it feels
why
like
is
public
fundraising
trust is
accelerating?
collapsing right in
Once
front
again,
of
to
our
many
eyes.
observers,
Not
the
because
numbers
when you
don't
line
seem to line
everything
up.
the
So
massive
when people
financial
zoom out
windfall,
and look
the
at the
constant
bigger picture,
fundraising, The
questions
nonstop
go
media
far
blitz,
beyond
the
grief
silence
or
around Charlie's
complicated
parents,
family
the
dynamics.
rewriting of who gets centered in
Why
his
is
legacy.
Erika so
It paints a
focused on
picture that
controlling
makes
the
people
narrative?
deeply uncomfortable.
Why does so much energy
Add in the
go towards
defensive posture,
messaging,
the
branding,
guilt
and
framework,
fundraising,
and the pressure to stop
while
asking
unanswered
questions? And a
questions
lot of people
remain?
are landing on this. So asked
Is
about
this about
Erika's
grief?
own deliberately
Is it
steering the
about power?
conversation away
Is
from
it about
Charlie's
money?
parents. And here's the
Or is
detail
it
that really
something
stood
else
out:
entirely?
the language she chose.
Even
And
theories
she
that
didn't
were
call
once
them
dismissed
my
outright
in-laws.
are being
She didn't
revisited
say
by critics.
Charlie's parents are
Not
doing
because
the
they're
best they
proven,
can.
but
She
because
didn't
the
even
patterns
moments.
keep
The
repeating.
pattern starts to feel even louder.
Massive financial
Remember the
gains,
memorial service.
constant
Charlie's parents
fundraising,
weren't there.
a non-stop
That event wasn't
media
private or
blitz.
quiet either. It featured
Silence around
pyrotechnics.
Charlie's
It was a
parents.
public spectacle.
A
And during
shifting
that same
focus on who
memorial,
gets
Erika
centered in
did
his
something that
legacy.
stunned a lot of people. She publicly
To many
forgave
people
the
watching,
alleged shooter
none
during
of
her
this feels
speech.
random.
But what did she not
None
do?
of it feels
She weren't
accidental.
ready for that kind
And
of statement.
that's what makes this
That decision
situation
didn't just
so
speak for her.
unsettling.
There were still unanswered
When
questions
patterns repeat
surrounding
this
the
clearly,
assassination at that
people
point.
start wondering
Investigations
what they're
weren't
not supposed
finished.
to notice.
Details weren't clear. Yet
Now I
forgiveness
want
was
to hear from
declared
you.
publicly
What do you
just
think this
days
is
after
really
it
about?
happened. Critics keep
Drop your
repeating the
thoughts in the
same
comments.
thing. Something
If this
feels
video
off.
made you think,
And then there's the
make
footage
sure
from
to
the
like
Medal
it,
of Freedom
share it,
ceremony.
and
Have you
subscribe
seen it?
behind the fame
Because the
channel
people are
so
asking
you don't
why.
miss what comes next.
Why wouldn't she
As
stand with
always,
her in-laws
I'll see
during
you
one
in
of the
next
most
video.
significant